So our guest today on the show is the Chief Executive Officer of the National Film Authority Ghana, Juliet Yaa Asante, and the founder Nigerian International Film Summit, Ijeoma Onah. She will be talking to us about collaborations with Nigerian filmmakers in international markets and other countries within Africa. Welcome, ladies, to the show.
Thank you.
Welcome to have you. Let me start with you, Ijeoma, because this entire week I have been attending the Nigerian International Film and TV Summit. And I've seen the work you've done, your organization has done over the years in helping filmmakers export their material to international markets. Tell us a bit about your journey and how it's been so far.
Thank you. Thank you. First of all, thank you for having me and Juliet. And it's been a journey that started more than 15 years ago, you know, when we used to take producers to market this cup. And I remember those days we were, you know, going to look for opportunities to sell programs abroad, you know, like...
That's how I actually met you at Discob. I met you at Discob. We used to be Ijeoma Discob where we go to sell content back then.
Yes. So, you know, and working with a lot of producers just to help them, besides what they are doing in Nigeria, putting programs on adverts and, on TV and getting advertising. But I've been quite international facing and understand a bit of international business, how, you know, buying and selling of rights for TV programs, you know, whatever the genre, from telenovelas, films, documentaries, you know. So it's been that journey of helping both broadcasters, those of them from Nigerian broadcasters also go to acquire rights for the programs that they put on television. And so having worked with different major markets globally, I just thought, you know, we also need to develop our own industry, right? And because charity must begin at home.
Right.
So in 2017, at the American Film Market, we launched the Nigerian International Film Summit. And since then, we've been positioning Nigeria at major markets in film festivals, right, where we drive conversation, very high-level conversation around the film industry in Nigeria.
Yeah, so let me come to Juliet. You are in charge of the National Film Authority in Ghana.
Right.
And you're in Nigeria, probably seeking for collaboration to see how both, you know, countries can work together in the film industry. So tell us how the Ghana film industry is, the level it is right now, and why you think it's important to have a collaboration with the Nigerian film industry.
Right. So first of all, let me say thank you and a well done to Ijeoma and what she's been doing. And, you know, in the spirit of collaboration, that's just where it starts. We get on the phone, we are like, you know, we have too much in common. And just to mention, I mean, you mentioned Discob, you know, I've been meeting, we've been talking everywhere, discussing the progress of the space. But I think it dawned on us that, look, we have so much in common. There's so much we can do together if we join forces. So that's how we started. And even from the outcome of this week, that just tells you the importance of collaboration and how far that can go. The National Film Authority, which is the government agency that oversees the entire film ecosystem in Ghana. And I should say that I'm proud as a filmmaker to be the one to set up the office. We are young, but at the same time, and we are just 4 years old, but I think it was very clear to me, having worked in the space for so long, the importance of our local markets, you know. Usually, I mean, the last time I spoke with Ijeoma, we met in Cannes, you see. So sometimes Africans meet in other continents to discuss what's pertinent to us when we could be doing so internally. We have such a big market. I want to throw some figures around. In just 6 years, we would have 40% of the global youth population and all of that domicile in Africa. But most importantly, in the sub-region, Ghana and Nigeria has such a rich history and so much in common. I mean, we even have tribes, I'm finding out, that have their roots here. We have same food, same cultures, so many things. And we thought, look, let's not just be going outside of the continent. In the west of Africa, Ghana and Nigeria, English-speaking countries surrounded by French-speaking countries. Of course, we should reach out to French-speaking countries also. But how about we collaborate and see what this could do? Immediately, that opens up 2 markets. Immediately, that means that there's more people to consume, we can develop the market more, creativity can bloom more, because diversity is all, right? And so that's what started the conversation, and that's why we are here to say, let's collaborate. I think we've done so in the past. A lot continues to happen. Let me just say on this show that the announcement was made at Cannes, at Ijeoma's program in Cannes. And we're already collaborating with Kunle Afalonyo's Anikolapo 2nd season, and a Ghanaian 3rd season, okay. And a Ghanaian actually learned Yoruba from scratch to be on there. Yeah. And he will be coming to Ghana to shoot as well. She was here to shoot. There are other collaborations happen. Ramsey Noah was just in Ghana to shoot A Country Called Ghana. And one of our major filmmakers is shooting here. Funke was also in Ghana to shoot. So there's a lot that's been going on. Last year, we did the Africa Cinema Summit in collaboration with Film One. This year, we are doing it in collaboration with Silverbird and also the Now Group with Moses Babatope and all of that. So there's been collaborations going on. We are just taking it to the next level. That's what is happening.
I think my question is actually for both of you can answer. So as you mentioned, the collaborations, I mean, I feel like we've always collaborated with Ghana.
That's true.
Yeah.
The Majid and
Yes,
always done,
exactly.
you know.
Yeah,
exactly.
sure.
So, but, you know, this seems like more official. Are there specific goals that you're hoping that you would achieve? And, you know, also, you said you met in Cannes, you've been having conversations. So are there some challenges that are just unique to us and you hope that this collaboration will sort of help sort out?
Yeah. So for us, I remember like 10 years ago when I used to work with international distribution company, and I used to manage some producers in Ghana. So I used to go to Ghana. So when you get a catalog, when you're trying to sell Nigerian films, Nollywood films, as it were, right, to maybe an international broadcaster, and you present a film, right, that has Nigerian and Ghanaian actors in them, there's no difference. So, yeah, and those days we had a lot of those kind of collaborations. Ghanaian producers and directors were working here, Nigerian producers and directors were working in Ghana. Their actors were always in our films. Our own actors were always in their films. So, and we just asked ourselves this year, what happened?
Yeah.
So that's the starting point,
Oh, sorry. So you noticed like there was a decline in that relationship?
It doesn't even exist
anymore.
anymore. Yeah.
They fell apart.
Exactly, that's the right word.
Rice fight.
Jollof wars.
So yeah, that's actually the right word. It completely fell apart. And at the summit 2 days ago, we set up a panel and we brought Ghanaian producers on this panel and Nigerian producers, those who have worked with Ghana and Nigeria. And we said, what are the issues? What exactly went wrong? And there were things around, the way Nigerians are domineering, they come into a space, they want to take over, and then there's pushback, and there were certain narratives that were being pushed, So, yeah, there were actually certain things that happened. Maybe Juliet, you are also in a better place to speak to some of these things.
Right. I mean, the thing is that even in a home, it's difficult even among siblings, like collaboration is never easy. I think that's one of the things that came up strongly during the summit. Ghanaians have our own cultures. Even though we have similarities, we are a certain way, Nigerians are a certain way. But I think what unites us is really, more than what keeps us apart. And that's what we are trying to focus on. So we are thinking, again, why did that dry up? The Africa Free Trade, Agreement is here. Film is a culture diplomacy, tool. Film can do so much for us, bringing us as a continent together, in the sub-region together. We have to look at the economic conversation, how this can create employment and all that. And to just show you how seriously we take this, I was actually here with our Minister of Tourism, Arts and Culture. And so that tells you how seriously we think beyond bringing a Ghanaian delegation to say, okay, we can go on and be, Ghanaians are like this and Nigerians are like this, but that is what makes us beautiful. Right. Even when we go on the Jollof Wars, other African countries get jealous because they say Ghana and Nigeria, they're behaving like they're the only countries on the continent, So why don't we take the good within this? I mean, in Ghana, we are playing Nigerian music on our radios all the time.
Vice versa.
Yeah, so music, I think music has led that way a lot for us that we can copy.
There's another part I would like to highlight here, because one of the few things I learned is about the animation. First, I was going to come to you, to IG, concerning the collaborations you've had with the French Embassy, how that has been, and how that has been helpful for Nigerian filmmakers. But I was going to come to you, Juliet, on the issue of the animation, because there's an animator from Ghana who was talking about the fact that he tried to start that industry. Unfortunately, he didn't have the technical skills within Ghana. He had to come and import 8 Nigerians, fed them, housed them, and they are the ones that actually helped to begin to build. So that collaboration is required, because we have quite a bit of capacity here, but we just need somebody to help us announce. So I'd like you to touch on that a bit.
Technically, sometimes there are strengths on both sides. So when we come together. So for instance, Atineke from MultiChoice was in my office a couple of weeks back, and she made the comment that in their talent factory, they wanted, a Ghanaian sound person, because apparently because there were generators here for a long time, that Nigerian sound people don't hear a certain frequency. So exactly. So then the Ghanaian technical person can step in. And same thing with Ghana. There could be, there are equipments that are here that are not in Ghana. There's some expertise that are here that are not in Ghana. So when there's collaboration, there's also transfer of skills.
Definitely.
And, shared skills. So I think we look at this as that's what true collaboration is. It's like fitting a puzzle together. I have this, you don't have this, how can we work together? Picking on your particular animation, imagine, I just said that we have 40% of the global youth population. Who is providing content for this youth population? All our kids are consuming animation that is not of our making. And not just that, we are losing out not just on the preservation and culture and all of that, but on the economics of it. And so if we came together, so that collaboration is already happening. Imagine Ghana, Nigeria coming together, creating stories that are similar, that speaks to both our cultures. We could be supplying all of Africa with animation right here. So for us, that's the vision that we see. And this animation house in Ghana, like you're saying, is already has over 70% of its workforce being Nigerian. So we are just saying, let's all do our part. You do our part, we do our part. Let's combine forces. When we were growing up, because you speak about animation, there was an foreign animation called Captain Planet. Let's combine our forces. Exactly. So basically, it's like that. Let's combine our forces. Let's create the Captain Planets that we can create here. We have rich cultural, historical figures that we haven't even touched on that our young people need to learn from, and that's
So let me come to Juliet. So far, what has been the benefits of this Nigerian International Film Festival, and how are you able to get government involved if there's anything of such? Because I know that for very major film industries outside, I'm talking about the Western world, and most of the time government is really involved, and that's why they have the mass impact that they do with their movies. Are we getting there?
Is this for me?
Yes, this is for you, Juliet.
Okay,
Ijeoma.
Okay, good question, and I think it also ties into what you wanted to talk about, with what we've been doing with the French Embassy in Nigeria. So, it's very interesting that most of the things that we have done, since we started, hasn't really been based on getting that level of support that you would expect from government. Does it mean that the government doesn't support? I really can't say it with, so much confidence, right? But the interesting thing for us is that different embassies in Nigeria, right, have actually been pushing. For example, like Morayo was, at the summit, we saw how the French embassy has been sending delegation of animators in Nigeria to the biggest festival, animation festival in globally, ANSI, since 2019. I was there with them last year. I think it was 30 people that they sent.
Wow.
And they have a Nigerian booth, right? All fully paid for by the Embassy of France in Nigeria.
Wow.
And in October, working with them, we're also taking 20 companies to the biggest TV markets in the world, 20 Nigerian companies. And they have also provided a Nigerian pavilion. And, it's, when you know the investment, it's mind-blowing. And then you begin to ask yourself.
So I have follow-up question. Follow-up question, even for you. Yes, because I'm thinking, okay, this is Nigerian government. Maybe they don't get it. What do you think they don't get that the French government gets? So that they are making those investment. I'm sorry. And then for Juliet, it would be, is Ghana making the same mistakes, or do you think that you are on the right track?
So let me answer. It's a conversation that needs to happen.
Okay.
The creative and the cultural industries, right? It's one industry that every government takes seriously. And with this present government, there has been a different ministry that takes care of the creative, which I believe is a right step in the right direction. And since it wasn't really existing, we want to believe that they're still trying to find a way around what they're doing, get their acts together, and, but at the end of the day, right, we have always been self-sustained. Go and look at the history of Nollywood.
Yes.
I know that there has been funding at some point, Project Act and all those kind of stuff that government has put in. But, the resilience of Nigerians, the entrepreneurs, and that's what sets us apart from other African countries where, like South Africa, that has strong government support. Like when we are traveling, government doesn't pay our tickets, government doesn't pay our hotel, right? Everything is 100%, by yourself. And you can't spend that kind of money just to go and do sightseeing and come back.
No.
So, it also adds to, why you must succeed as a business person, as somebody.
For a quick second. We're going to very short. We'll come back. We conclude with you and just take your own. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Thanks for staying with us. All right. So I know Mariam had a follow-up question for Juliet concerning if they're having the same issues in Ghana.
Right. First, I was just going to say that governments don't realize how much employment this space creates. According to UNESCO, this is the largest employer on the continent. If we are looking to build soft power, I mean, you can look at your playlist and look at how much of that is perhaps made in America, how many clothes you're wearing in your wardrobe that is made in America. So America is a superpower because of the creative space, because of the arts. And so once governments begin to realize that, look, we need to develop our soft power, and this space can develop our soft power, not just that it attracts investment, money moves around heavily in this space, then the conversation changes. I think one of the challenges or one of the things that we also fail to do as creatives is to speak the money conversation to government. Because governments also think in terms of what's my return on investment. So if I'm going to put money in, what is my return? we are providing huge returns on investment, but we don't speak to it.
Yeah.
We speak to the passion, we speak to all of
Yeah.
these things, and other
No,
sectors
numbers.
are showing that, look,
The numbers.
The numbers. So if we begin to speak a different language and say, look, we are creating employment, we are bringing soft power, skills, skills transfer, all of these things.
Articulate the numbers.
Articulate the numbers, the conversation will change. I myself, I'm a filmmaker. I actually stepped back to get into government, went and educated myself, got into government so I can advocate for the space in government. And so some of the things we are doing, the huge steps we are taking, is because I'm a filmmaker. It's because I've practiced in this. It's because I have given myself the tools so I can speak to it. So for instance, when we started the Shoot in Ghana policy, that is now inviting the world to come and shoot in Ghana, and that's why we are here. We are saying come and shoot in Ghana. I had to show government that, look, we need tax incentives. But if you give us tax incentive of this amount, this is how much we can then, bring into the space. And the difference, you give us 10%, we'll give you over 200%. Because film, for instance, is a very low-hanging fruit. Some film can come and shoot in your country, and it's over 200 million. The budget is over 200 million, 10 million, whatever. But I had to articulate those numbers before government looked at those policies. Are we doing things right or all right? No, nowhere near that. First of all, let me say my office is only 4 years old. That tells you that, we are,
You're slow, but
exactly. But I think myself being in the space has made a lot of difference. We've been able to also show, during COVID, for instance, we did a video that was one of the most watched video. And I think some data came out that said that it reduced depression a lot during COVID. So we've been able to prove that if you give the film space or the creative space, enable the space, there's so much that we can do.
We have to wrap up with you, but I think I'd like to let Ijeoma wrap up. Was there a question to ask?
I just wanted to ask how, what does the future, what can you project into the future, like in 5 years' time, if we go on this path as African filmmakers and how we present ourselves to the world? What do you see in 5 years?
Should I go first or you want to go
Ijeoma.
first?
Okay. Again, the potentials for us are untapped. That's it. And taking what happened in Nigeria, for example, with Funke's movie that grossed 1.4 billion in the box office, right? And we listened to the group CEO of Film House, who was our keynote speaker at the summit, and he gave us figures that this is the first time that every month there was a Nigerian film that crossed the 150 million mark in the box office.
Wow.
Right? So it may just be one, and then the gap between Hollywood and Nollywood in the box office is now put at 48% for Nollywood and I think 52% for Hollywood.
Whoa.
It's closing.
Closing the gap.
It's closing, right? So, and that tells you something, that we have a strong local content market. We have a very strong, that can compete with Hollywood. So if this industry gets the right kind of support, the right kind of funding, right? Then it's going to have, the effect is going to be seen.
Yeah.
Because when you have 2, 4, 5 films, coming out every month and they're making those kind of numbers, then definitely, it's going to show that there is really a whole lot happening in this industry. So I believe we have not yet, scratched the
I have
surface.
to wrap up, unfortunately, because time is up. But, I mean, I have to thank you, ladies.
Thank
for coming on the
you.
show. I mean,
Thank you.
one of the reasons why I wanted to bring you on, because I was really inspired by the conversations this week on the collaborations and how it was important for us to work together as Africans. And I've said I admire the work you've done with the French Embassy, and I hope that our Nigerian government can get the feedback. to also see what they can do to invest, because there are a lot of young filmmakers, even in the audience, young people who are making films. These are hungry. They need that support. And I'm so happy that that platform was provided for them to ask questions and meet with people who are going to be giving them funds and support and everything. So well done, Ijeoma. Well done, Juliet. Thank you very much for coming. Wishing you the best.
Thank you.